The future of our cities and our schools. Tonight on 4 News Now, For the People coverage gets your questions answered before you cast your vote. The big issues on the ballot next week in Washington and North Idaho, from city council races to local school boards. Tonight, we're getting answers to questions you submitted from the candidates themselves.
Well, first up tonight, the Spokane School Board. We asked you what questions you have for Spokane School Board candidates. Aryn Dow sat down with all 4 candidates to get your questions answered.
Spokane Public School Board has 5 members in total. This election, you can vote for 2 of those seats. Each person elected will be sitting in these seats for 6 years, hoping to serve the students and families of Spokane Public Schools.
It's been a difficult year and a half for students, and soon 2 new people will be sitting here defining the future of Spokane students for the next 6 years.
I decided to run for school board because I wanted to bring an educator's voice to the table.
Started to run on the idea that people who have lost their voice need to have an advocate. They need to have someone who is going to provide transparency and open and honest communication.
Daryl Geffken and Melissa Bedford are running for seat 3, being vacated by Jerrall Haynes. Kata Dean and Riley Smith are running for seat 4, Aryn Ziehnert's position.
I just want to bring my perspective as a mother to the school board.
I'm running to bring a Spokane Public Schools graduate voice to the board.
We reached out to you asking what questions you have for these candidates. One big issue you wanted to know about: equity.
So as far as ensuring equity within our, district, is making sure that, I'm checking in with the staff and teachers at schools, checking in with the community, checking in with the students, and making sure we're listening and acknowledging the systemic factors that come into play.
At the end of the day, it's looking and saying, how are we working to help that person become the best version of him or herself or themselves, and make sure, so for me, equity is not a result. Equity is giving someone the opportunity to become that best version of themselves.
The pandemic is now part of our everyday life. Masks are required in Washington schools. One parent asked, "Are you willing to continue to take necessary precautions to keep our children safe from COVID-19 so students can remain in schools?"
If we need to be wearing masks in school, continuing social distancing, being in open air places, these are the reasons our schools are open 5 days a week.
While Kata Dean says she's behind masking students, she thinks a decision to require it should be made at the local level.
Not mandated by our state. I think we have all the information we need to make those guidelines and stuff for our own community and our own school district.
One question that's come up on the campaign trail for these candidates: critical race theory. The school district is not teaching it, but some candidates believe there are parts of it that are making its way into Spokane schools. Daryl Geffken is one.
And from my standpoint, if you set that oppositional nature up in the classrooms, that is not the best way to learn. There are ways, and let me be very clear on this as well. To say that you don't agree with critical race theory does not mean that you don't believe that racism exists.
CRT is not a curriculum, so it's not being taught in schools. What I do believe we need to adopt are anti-racist educational practices so that we are supporting our students to recognize that sadly race is a factor, but really our differences make us great.
Those are just a few of your questions I asked the school board candidates. I asked many more, and you can find that and their answers on KXLY.com. In Spokane, Aryn Dow, 4 News Now.